Chapter 6. The game continues. Felix woke to music drifting from the kitchen. Kit stood at the stove, wearing nothing but black shorts. His back was to Felix. He turned, no trace of yesterday's vulnerability. "Good morning, baby." His voice was light and playful. Felix leaned against the doorframe. "You okay?" "Why wouldn't I be?" He plated the eggs. "Someone protected me yesterday." A glance over his shoulder. That was hot. He set the plate in front of Felix and leaned close. "Want to know what I thought?" Kit's voice dropped low. "I thought about how your hands would look on me, but not in public." He straightened and grabbed his own plate. Felix ate in silence. He could feel Kit's gaze. "Good eggs," Felix said finally. "I'm good at many things, baby," Kit replied. He stood, carried the plates to the sink, gave that smirk, and left. Felix stayed where he was, his hands clenched. "What game are you playing, Kit?" At noon, Damian called. Video. "I've been getting calls from the club," he said. "The client was attacked," Felix said quietly. "It was flirtation, Mr. Thorne." "I was groped, Dami," Kit said sharply. Damien studied Kit. "It's part of the job," Damien said finally. "People look at you, want you, touch you. This is different," Kit said. Damien exhaled. "Fine, but no more incidents." He looked at Felix. "And Kit, we both know how this ends." The screen went dark. Kit looked at Felix. "He knows." "What?" "That I want you," Kit said bluntly. "Kit, stop playing games." "Who says I'm playing?" Kit's voice went low. "Maybe I'm serious." "Then stop with the provocation." "What if it's all I have?" Kit asked quietly. "It's not." "How would you know?" Felix held his gaze. "Because if all you needed was provocation, you would have stuck with the previous 7. They all broke, but you're still here, still playing with me, because I don't break. And that pisses you off, and turns you on." Kit stared at him. Something shifted in his expression. Slowly, he smiled. "Maybe." "Not maybe," Felix said. "Definitely." Damien's penthouse. The party was in full swing. Felix slipped out onto the balcony. Cold wind. The city spread below. "Mr. Thorne." Damien appeared in the doorway with a cigar in hand. "Join me." He walked to the railing and took a drag. Felix stayed a few meters back with his hands in his pockets. "You've lasted longer than any of them," Damien said. "Impressive." "I'm just doing my job." Damien's smile had an edge. "I've known Kit for a very long time. I created him, made him Sweet Demon." Another drag. "He loves to play, to provoke, to break people. It's in his nature." "And you're already broken," Damien said. "You just don't see it yet." Felix stayed silent. "When you finally snap, and you will, I'll fire you. Nothing personal." He turned back toward the door and paused at the threshold. "Oh, and Mr. Thorne? Kit will never belong to anyone." He went inside. Felix stayed where he was, staring at the city, his hands clenched. They got home late. Kit was drunk, not heavily, but enough to notice. Felix stayed in the living room. He took off his jacket, unbuttoned the top buttons of his shirt, went to the bar, and poured whiskey. He drank it down and poured another. The sound of a door opening. "Wow," Kit said slowly. "Something wrong, baby?" He walked over, took the glass right out of Felix's hands, and finished what was left. "Dami talk to you?" Felix looked at him. "What did he say?" Kit's lips curved. "Let me guess." He grabbed the bottle and poured for both of them. "That I'm dangerous, that I break people, that I'll never belong to anyone. And you believed him?" "I believe you're dangerous," Felix said. Kit raised his glass. "You're right about that." He drank. "I am dangerous. I do break people. Want to know why?" He set the glass down. "Because they let me. They come in thinking they'll save me, or have me, or both." He moved closer and stopped right in front of Felix. "Then they realize I don't want to be saved, and that touching me isn't the same as having me." His gaze was direct, hard. "What about you, soldier? You want to save me?" Felix met his eyes and didn't look away. "No." "Want to touch me?" "Yes." Complete honesty. Kit went still. He hadn't expected that. "But I won't," Felix continued. "Why not?" "Because you want me to. Because it would prove you're right, that everyone's the same." Kit said nothing. "And I won't give you that satisfaction." Felix picked up his glass and finished it. He walked past Kit toward his room, stopped near the door, but didn't turn around. "Good night." He went inside and closed the door. Felix lay in the dark. He couldn't sleep. Footsteps in the hallway. They stopped outside his door. A voice. "You're right." Felix didn't move. I do want you to snap, because it would be easier that way, but you don't. And that pisses me off, scares me too, because if you're not like the rest of them, what does that mean? Felix stood, walked to the door, and stood on the other side. He pressed his palm against the wood. Good night, Felix. The footsteps retreated. Felix stayed there with his hand on the door. The game continues, but the rules are changing. For him, for Kit. Maybe they'd both already lost.